Hey friends, welcome back to the Dave It Yourself channel. My name is Dave. This is my channel. This video is still continuing working on the Dumas Staggerwing Balsa rubber band flying model kit. It is kit number 332. And as in the last video you saw, I got the fuselage to this portion. What I'm going to do now is just going to go ahead and speed through, do this front portion here, get these last little stringers in here, and then we're going to move on to putting on the wing support and then also the motor mount in the back. So stick around on that, and I'm going to go ahead and speed that up for you. All right, now. All right, friends. So you can see here that I went ahead and got the final uh, stringers, whatever you want to call them here, glued in. Since I did not wrap them from the front, I basically just did the what you've been doing with everything else, just individual pieces glued to individual areas. So each one of these is an individual glue. But it seemed to come out okay. Again, this is going to be a shelf queen most likely. But so far, just from a glance, it's definitely a Monet. It looks pretty good from a distance. So not so bad. So we're going to continue to work on with that. And get into the directions a bit here. What I'm going to be looking at now at this point is after we've done this tail cone assembly in the last video, we're going to go ahead and do the cement B9 into position, which the B9, let me see if I can show that to you here, sort of. B9 is going to go right back here into the tail section. So as we hold that in, B9 is going to be glued in right here on both sides, and there's going to be a dowel that goes between those, and that's where the rubber band itself is going to hook into. So we're going to do the B9, and then we're also going to do B8, which is going to be the wing saddle, and that's going to be the piece that's going to go right on the outside of here on both sides. So let's go ahead and get that done now. And again, I'm going to go ahead and speed through it. All right, friends. So we went ahead and got the wing. Let's see, wing stabilizer. Let's see, is that what they're calling that here? Wing saddle. There we go. Got the wing saddle in there. Now we're going to go ahead and cement B10 to the bottom of the fuselage frame. This will support the tail wheel assembly. B10 Looking at this, that looks like it is a pretty good chunk size of wood. So let me take a look and see what the part says for that. We're talking B10. So B10, all right, is the triangular piece. And here it does not look like a triangle. Oh, that's E10. Okay. All right. B10. I'm not quite seeing the whole B10 thing. Let's see, that's front gear. All right. Maybe it is on the other sheets. Let's just take a look real quick again. B10. B10 on bottom. Arrow. So B10 on bottom. And looking at B10, I think it's triangle. Is that right? B10. It is that triangle, and it is on card A, which is this one. Or is it? Yep, there it is. The triangle. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get that cut out, get that glued in. Here we go. All right, friends, so we've went ahead and got all the stringers on. Now what we're going to do is, according to the directions, we're going to go ahead and start working on the cowl ring on the front and getting that thing mounted on there. So that'll be coming up, so stick around. All right, friends, we're back. Went ahead and gave the plane a little time to dry and get all those final pieces glued in. Even went as far as pin this tail piece down to make sure that it would stay down. So I got that all in place and glued in now. And now, according to the instructions, it looks like we are supposed to be working on. Oh, we're going to be working on the cowl ring. So it's talking about here cement two formers ones together, cement two former ones together, cement two former twos together. And then it says cement B11, B12, B13, and B14 to former two and let dry. So that's what we will work on at this point. So looking at the instructions, the diagram of the parts here, as soon as I get that open. All of those parts are actually on one particular card. It's going to be this card. We'll need this here in a bit. But basically, it's going to be the dental molded. All the formers are the ones that are dental molded. So it's going to be these four pieces. We're going to glue these two rings together, and these two rings are going to form one right here and then one up forward here. So that's what we're going to move on to. And then the curved pieces that you see, including the one that's missing and has a broken piece, which I did find, those are the ones that are actually going to go inside the cowl itself. I went ahead and cut off the square portion, but this outer ring also needs to be cut off, so I did not cut off that so I could have it to work with. But I didn't cut off the square portion, get a kind of an idea of how well I'll be able to do the cut on the out there. I do have some plastic cutting scissors, so you know, this cut went pretty well. It's not perfectly round, but that's okay. That doesn't need to be. But I'll go ahead and cut it nice and round once I have the wood pieces in there, because then I'll be able to cut it at an angle too, so it's nice and flush with the wood. That's the plan. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces together as it mentions, and of course, to help you through it, I'm going to go ahead and go fast. Here we go. All right, friends, so I went ahead and got those two parts glued together, and I do believe it just says get those glued together and let them dry. Cowl ring cement the former ones together and two former twos together. And then cement B 11, 12, 13, and 14 to former 2, let dry. Now, former 2 is, I guess, now going to be the bigger one in the rear. This is going to be the one that goes in the front because it has the square for the block that's going to need to go where the prop goes. So these will take, make sure that stays flat. Go ahead and throw a pin in there just to make sure. Should be fine though. I'm gonna end up putting ribs through them. So, and that one's pretty flat. Okay. All right, and so let's see. So cement building tip first cement the 1/16 square strips that frame the slot for the stabilizer to the fuselage. That way you don't forget about the stabilizer. And then in the cowl ring it talks about um, mounting the cement B 11, 12, 13, and 14 together. Those are these bow tie type pieces right here. And I believe that these are what help keep these two things separated in the first place. And then the stringers will go on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut out, and we'll get those installed together. And there's a little bit of a diagram here about those going in there. So I think we'll just follow that. And to help you out, I will speed it up. Here we go. All right, friends, so I just wanted to stop here for a second, just take a look and see that these all look to be similar in size. Just a little bit of difference in between them. So I'm not sure if they're all supposed to be the same size. Let's see. Two of these are clearly, I guess, a little bit bigger. And looking at the way that this is mounted, so we got, yeah, all right, so basically that goes there. These are the B, just the little shorties that go on the bottom, the longer ones that go on the top sides. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and speed that up there. All right, friends. Well, I got this glued together. It is an odd formation, the way they want this done. But nonetheless, I've got them in there in the right spots, and we're just going to keep on keeping on. Um, so this cowl ring. So now you're installing them shorter than B11, different sizes. Yeah, or else cowl ring will not end up correctly made. Yeah, so I've got it correctly made. It looks like. All right, and then cement the 116 by 8 stringers to the notches and formers with 1 to 2. Optional, fill the spaces between the stringers with scrap balsa wood, and then sand the shape, and then cut out the plastic cowl, and then we're going to install that other stuff. All right, so let me go ahead and get these pieces uh, stuck on there, and let's see. That looks like that is coming along pretty straightish there. Let me get the side. There we go. So yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so that's coming along pretty nice. So let's go ahead and get those stringers on now, and I'll go ahead and speed that up. All right, friends. So there we go. I've got it the front cowling area on now with all the strips on it, and like I said, this bad boy will mount somewhere like this, and that'll be looking pretty darn good. You can already see that very distinctive front cowl of the Staggerwing already starting to show up now that we put this big old drum on the front. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and get that glued on there as well. And it does talk about being able to utilize some other pieces, but what I'll probably do is sand these tips pretty good. Probably be the first bit of sanding I'll need to do there, or at least get a good knife, cut these flat, and that way I can get a nice flush surface there. But we'll be doing that here shortly. So, but right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let this sit for a couple of minutes and see what we can do about getting back to this in a second. So stick around. All right, friends, thank you so much for coming on back. Went ahead and sanded the front cowl area, and then I went ahead and just glued it on. No reason to necessarily film that. That was basically a pretty well just a glue on two circles together kind of thing. So what we'll do now is we're going to move on to the actual cowling portion, the actual where the prop and all that's going to go. And we're going to get into those pieces here, and we'll get that completed, and then that should take care of it for this video. But let's see. So we got the cowl rings. So we got those done together. Okay, so now we're on step number 32, which is cement the 116 or 1/8 stringers and notches the formers 1 and 2. Okay, I went ahead and did all that. Actually, now we're on 33, which is the cowl. Cut out the plastic cowl, including the center 5/16 diameter hole. I have not cut out the hole yet. I have a. I'll use a prop reamer to do that, but I'll worry about doing that later because I don't have that tool handy. And so let's see. Then cement the E1s together and construct the 1/4 inch balsa directly over the plan. Let dry. Test fit the 1/4 inch frame inside the form and make sure that it fits. Then cement the balsa frame center to the back of E1. This will enable the cowl to be positioned without having to be cemented. So there we go. All right, so that's the way we're going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get those parts out. Like I said, these are going to be the ones here that are still in here. Matter of fact, if I can just pop that one out. Let's see. Yeah, pop that one out. And then I've got the other one here with the piece that I'll need to glue on. And that is actually going to be on this portion of the directions right here, this little area. So pop these little center sections out. And basically it'll be this type of scenario. But like I said, I do have this piece that's busted. So I'll need to glue that in first and then glue that together. And then once that's done, then I need to also take these wooden pieces here and form the frame that'll go in here that'll allow it to snap right into the front of the plane. So that's what we're going to work on this point. And of course, like everything else, I'm going to speed through it. So here we go. All right, friends, so I'm just going to dry fit the mount inside here for right now. It's a little off skew. So to help fix that, I'm going to go ahead and do the final trim here, which needs to be done now that I have the wood in there. And that should hopefully help me be able to make that a lot more flush once we get into that. So again, I'm going to speed it up. All right, friends. So there we go. We've got the front cowl mounting on, and we've got the wooden support made inside the front prop area, and the wood spoke itself, or the wood framing on the inside, should allow it to just sit right in there like that, and then we should be able to pull it out to do the rubber band repairs and things of that nature. So there we go. That is the that's coming along pretty good. That's coming along pretty good. Yeah, little errors here and there I can see on my next model where I'll do things differently. And there's still some little touch-up stuff I want to do here, but I think it's coming along pretty good. I hope you guys also agree. This is a pretty fun project, that is for sure. So again, the project that we are working on is the Dumas Staggerwing Flying Model Rubber Band Balsa Kit. Again, I'm a Balsa virgin. This is my first one I'm ever putting together. That's why it may not look exactly like the one you may have put together, but it's coming along, and I think it's coming along pretty well. And if you think so, I appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up and a like. I greatly appreciate that. And until next time, I am Dave. This is what I've got so far on this model, and which is the Dumas Staggerwing. And if you happen to have, speaking of Staggerwing, I just noticed this the other day, if you happen to have Real Flight 9.5S, the new upgraded version, and it may even been on 9.5, but it's definitely on 9.5S. You can actually fly a, I think Fly Zone has it, but it is a Fly Zone Staggerwing. Anyway, it's a little red one. So if you actually want to fly a Staggerwing, because they do fly pretty interestingly, feel free to look that up if you happen to have Real Flight 9.5S. And until next time, we off out of here.